The following dramatization is based on Melissa Muller's biography of Anne Frank and original research and interviews by Kirk Ellis. Some of the scenes in the film can also be found in Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, but the film does not use the words that Anne used in the diary to express her feelings. The following film contains realistic depictions of concentration camp life, including brief nudity. Viewer discretion is advised.
I want to be a champion skater and a writer. I want my picture in all the magazines. Maybe I'll be a movie star. I want to be different from all the other girls. I want to be a modern woman. I want to travel. I want to study languages. Languages and history. I want to do everything. I want to...
He thinks he's in love with me.
He's always looking at you.
And do you want to come over and play Monopoly tomorrow? Sana, you know my grandmother's coming to visit. I'm simply too busy. Why don't you ask Hannah?
I'll be at show.
So religious. Quickly. Wait. Quickly. Oh, sorry.
Saying you're a bad cook. Of course, I'm sure your husband loves the way your strawberry jam is.
Hello, Mr. Clement.
Hello, Anne.
Meep, where's father?
Wait a minute. He's in the storeroom with Mr. Kugler and Mr. Van Pels.
Thank you, Meep. May I say how nice you look today?
The problem is you're using too much sugar.
Too much nutmeg? Not enough coriander? Black pepper with, is that ginger?
No. Close.
Him.
Your mother telephoned. She was quite worried. You should have gone straight home.
What are you doing?
Mr. Kugler is trying out some new recipes.
Your mixing still needs work, but you may have something.
That's high praise indeed, Mr. Kugler. As you know, Mr. Van Pels has an infallible nose.
Anne, a joke for you. What is black and white and red all over?
What?
A newspaper. You know, red, huh?
It's a lovely book. Thank you, Grandma. Is it exciting coming all the way from Germany by yourself? Tell me everything.
You see, she's still as curious as ever.
Let me see your book. Let me see.
Wait, Grandma has another surprise.
And here's your present, Anne.
A fountain pen. Look, Margot. It's beautiful. I treasure it always. Thank you, Grandma. I'm so glad you came to visit.
Grandma will be living with us from now on. Girls, would you like that?
Oh, yes. Very much.
Anne? Why don't you try out your new fountain pen?
Yes. Yes, immediately. Excuse me.
Don't be too long. The Goslers are expecting us. Make sure she gets ready.
Let her have her fun, Edith.
You spoil her terribly, Otto. She should have come straight home.
Oh, I'm starving.
And please mind your manners, Anne.
I know, like Margot.
I thought you liked the Goslers.
Of course I do. I just wish Hannah Lee's family wasn't so religious. I'd rather be at the movies.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ברצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון. הנחיל לנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
אמן. Hitler's only a fever, Hans. Germany will recover, mark my words.
What's to keep that madman from annexing Holland and liberating his Germanic brothers?
The Dutch are different.
Sometimes, Otto, I think you have too much faith in people.
Poor mother, she's used to better. God willing, Edith, one day we'll all go home. Till then, we get by. Be thankful you've got central heating.
Are you happy with those, Mrs. Gosler?
Oh, that's very kind of you. Such a sweet girl. You're lucky. Hannah's got 2 left hands.
Sometimes I miss a full-time servant, but...
We don't have the money to pay servants.
The Dutch ones are hopeless anyway. Simply cannot be relied on.
Mother? Anne says you shouldn't call them servants. Say maid.
God knows everything, but Anne knows everything better.
You like to spoil yourself. You like it even better when other people spoil you.
Does that make me a bad person?
Good people and bad people have one thing in common. They both make mistakes. Only good people can admit their mistakes and learn from them.
Tell me about the Paulers.
That's a story for children, not a little woman like you.
No. I want to hear it.
The Paulers live here with us. You can't see them. But sometimes, if you keep absolutely still and really listen, you can tell where they're hiding. But beware, because you never know which Paula you might find. Good Paula, or bad Paula who's always causing trouble.
I don't mean to be bad, Paula. Sometimes she just escapes.
Doesn't matter. As long as you always keep good Paula in your heart.
Daddy, couldn't they be the same person? Good Paula and bad Paula.
Why? Yes. I suppose that's possible.
Maybe good Paula's afraid of what people may think of her. And that's why she's bad sometimes. At least that's what I think. And you always told me I should think for myself.
So I did. Papers say Hitler has his eye on Poland now. Holland will stay neutral, whatever happens. Still, all this Nazi talk, bad for business.
I have fewer patients now, but no matter. There will always be Jewish cavities to be filled. Say ah.
Ah.
Ah, 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 ah.
Mr. Pfeffer, not until we're married.
Wait! It's not fair! You're cheating!
Anne, come out of the water.
Otto, say something.
And do as your mother says.
You know it's not good for you to go swimming. Here, dry yourself off.
You never let me have any fun.
I don't want you getting sick. You know how frail you are.
Were we ever like that, Edith?
No, Otto. We were never like that.
Hey, you took my strawberry.
Look at my two little stars.
Like anything else?
Why was I not invited to this party?
It's Mr. Gosler. Look, it's your dad.
You see? And you told me he'd never come to Holland. Happy birthday, Anne.
We must have a picture. A picture. Yes,
Well,
Daddy,
a picture. Adolf is your birthday present. The girls and Uncle Adolf. Hannah, point at your dad. Everyone point at Uncle Adolf. Very good.
Die Schuld unseres Volkes ist gelöscht!
Germany invades Poland and the Free State of Danzig, ending the efforts and hopes of diplomats for peaceful settlement. The roar of gunfire replaces the talk of statesmen, and the curtain of war falls over Europe. Warsaw is bombed, blasted and shelled. Poland is in ruins.
The swastika!
Great Britain and France respond with a declaration of war on Germany. Huge French guns move to the front, and its army to the great man-made Maginot Line, the nation's first bulwark of defense.
Wasn't your monsieur beautiful? Much too pretty to lose her head. I didn't like the king very much, though. Tyrone Power was much more handsome. Just like the boy I'm going to marry.
You've already chosen.
Oh, no. Too many admirers.
Just like poor Marie Antoinette.
The war won't come here, will it, Daddy?
No.
I don't think I'd like that very much.
Oh, and the British will see to her Hitler.
Our Lady repeated proclamation of Holland's neutrality in the current conflict. German troops are said to be massing on the Dutch border. While there has been no official declaration of war.
Anne! What do you think you're doing?
I ask you, Mr. Gies, what good is the Dutch army in the face of a blitzkrieg?
They'll be riding to the front on bicycles.
I wish I could disagree with you, but I'm afraid I can't.
Curly, all this talk of an invasion is nonsense. Why haven't they? What's stopping them?
Mind you stay out of it. I'll do the thinking, if you please.
Mr. Frank listens to his wife. You see what he's like, knows all the answers.
Beware of marriage, Mr. Geese. In my experience, its merits are greatly overrated.
Hear, hear.
My sister begs me to send the children to London to live with her.
And will you?
How can I keep them safe there? No, it's better if we stay together. Hope for the best.
Ah, here's a joke for you.
We've heard it.
Was all it took. Now people are throwing themselves out of windows.
Where does panic get us, Hans? We learn to adapt.
We adapted in Germany.
I wanted my baby to be born in a different world. Not like the one we left. It's Frankfurt all over again. No. I mustn't let myself think that. Not now.
A friend who saw it yesterday. That was very good. Zeit. Is that good?
Next. Come on, keep moving. Next in line.
What's going on, Pen? Why do we have to be here?
It's just a formality. Like a census, you know, bureaucracy. Anneliese Marie Frank. Otto Frank.
Anne! Hannah, wait for me. Is this her? She's adorable.
Her name's Gabby. I'm still not used to having a sister. She keeps me busy all the time. You mustn't spoil her, Hannah. No one likes a spoiled child. I'm not sure if I care for your outfit, Lucy. If you don't mind me saying so.
Mother makes me wear it. She said we should show some allegiance, whatever that means. Papa's been out of work for so long. Mother said Hitler would make jobs here the same way he did in Germany.
Lucy, what are you doing? Get away from those girls.
Not to worry, Mr. Kleinman. We'll beat the Nazis at their own game. Paperwork. Because Pectacon is registered as a Jewish business, it's necessary to create an entirely new company, and with your permission, Jan, I'd like to call it Geese and Company.
Whatever I can do to help. But you must be careful, Mr. Frank. The bureaucrats are silent collaborators.
You'll be listed as supervisory director with no responsibilities. Mr. Kugler will take over day-to-day operations along with Mr. Kleinman. It'll be a purely Aryan enterprise, all strictly legal. On paper, I won't exist.
Is there something wrong with us? The Jews?
No. No, you must never think that.
You must have done something awful.
I was a little girl like you in Vienna when the war came, and there wasn't enough food to eat. One day, my mother bundled me up, and she took me to the train station. She put me on a train to Holland. She hung a sign around my neck, and she said goodbye.
Did she love you anymore?
Yes, she did. That's why she did it. There was food here, and families willing to share it. I didn't know that at the time. I felt so sick and so alone. But when I got a little older, I realized good people sometimes find themselves in trouble without having done anything wrong.
Do you think I'm a good person?
Yes, I do. Only one.
We'll get another one later when times are better. This one's yours. Prove that someone's finally going to make an honest Dutch woman out of you.
I'm already honest.
Miss Sandrushitz.
Oh, I do. I do.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
More dancing.
Music. Champagne.
Oh, please,
Who isn't?
Two left feet. What is it?
Gone.
You dance divinely, Meep.
Oh, thank you, Anne.
You too, Jan.
She leads, I just follow.
May I see your ring again, please, Meep? I want one just like it when I get married. And a husband like Jan, too.
You'll find him. I did. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, please, Curly, just one more dance.
Sit down, please, Putty. You only make a fool of yourself.
Surely you wouldn't refuse a lady's invitation, Mr. Frank.
Well, I'm afraid that at the moment you have a rival, Mrs. Van Pels. Hands up.
Charmed, sir.
The name of the man who discovered the basic laws of geometry was Pythagoras. Write it down, please. Pythagoras. Yes?
I'm afraid that however interesting your lesson might be, I can't see it.
Ah. Well, will you change places with Miss...
Frank.
Change, please. The square on the hypotenuse.
I like your eyes, Jackie. They're the first thing I noticed about you. People say my hair is my most attractive feature. Do you think they're right? Yes, of course. You know, we live on Maveda Plain. It's not far away. You can come to my house if you want. We can do our homework together. I'd like that very much. So, darling, we're going to be famous friends, I can tell. At the Montessori school, I was very popular. I cried when Mrs. Cooper's told us we couldn't go there anymore.
At my school, there were these awful boys. They started calling us Jew girls. We were so scared we ran away.
I don't know. Maybe it's better this way. Think about it. If it hadn't been for the Germans, we never would have met. This is Moji. She's going to have kittens soon. Because she keeps meeting lots of men. Mommy, would it be all right if Shaki stayed over one night?
She wants to.
Wait, I have a better idea. I'll come over to your house. We can talk about things they don't want us to.
See something really magical? Mother designed that. The best people used to wear dresses. She stopped making them when the war started. She thinks they're out of place.
After the war, I'm only going to wear the finest of clothes. Miss Anne Frank was radiant at the Princess Ball last night, wearing a beautiful gown of gold lace. You've de Hall. You've read it 3 times. I love Cissy van Marsveld. She's my favorite writer.
Didn't you love the part when Leo proposes to Joop?
Here, I'll be Joop and you be Leo. Hold my hand.
Joop, you're crying.
Let go of my hand, Leo.
What if I told you that you were my one true darling?
Oh, Leo.
Kiss me, Joop.
Jackie, if I tell you a secret, will you promise not to tell anyone?
I promise.
I've never been kissed by a boy before. Have you? What was it like, kissing?
It was... You'll find out.
I want to be a real woman, with a woman's body. I'd love to know what one feels like. May I?
No.
But we're best friends, aren't we?
Of course we are. We'll always be best friends.
If one of us ever has to go away, let's promise to exchange letters. Promised.
We measure the circumference of the circle with the formula 2 pi r. Write it down, please. Quite the chatterbox, aren't you, Miss Frank? Well, perhaps you'd like to share your wisdom with us? A little essay, perhaps, entitled Quack, 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 went Mrs. Quackenbush. Say 500 words. Due tomorrow.
Oh, these blackout drapes make everything so stuffy. I feel as if I'm suffocating sometimes.
It's all in your head.
You know that isn't true. I'm a very delicate creature, Mr. Frank. Very delicate.
I tell you, the Germans will lose this war.
And I keep asking you when.
We must be thankful for what blessings we have.
Blessings, Otto, really.
Our families are still together, that's enough.
Attention, everyone. Quack, 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 said Mrs. Quackenbush. A story by Anne Frank.
Go ahead, Anne. We're all listening.
Once upon a time, there was a mother duck and 3 beautiful ducklings who lived in a lake ruled by a proud swan. Quack, 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 said Mrs. Quackenbush to her brood. Quack, 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 said the ducklings. Keep your voices down, roared the swan, his feathers all in a ruffle. Be quiet, or I'll bite you, and then you'll never quack again. This one was not a nice swan. He was a black swan, and all the other ducks in the lake were afraid of him. But not Mrs. Quackenbush. You won't bite these children, she said to the swan, who answered, I'll do exactly what I please. They're only ugly little ducklings, and I am their master. And then he began to bite the ducklings. Save us, Mama! The poor little ducklings cried. And then Mrs. Quackenbush began to quack. She quacked, and she quacked, and she quacked. Stop it! Stop that infernal quacking, cried the swan, putting his wings over his ears. But Mrs. Quackenbush did not stop. Not until the black swan flew away, never to return. She gathered her ducklings around her, and together they swam off happily ever after, singing, quack, quack, quack.
Run up here. I've been thinking it might be a good idea to take over the building behind us. I'll show you what I have in mind. It's 2 rooms and the bathroom below, an attic upstairs. It's a perfect laboratory space, wouldn't you say? A place for Mr. Van Pels and me to cook up our little experiments. What do you say?
Yep. Why not? Business is good. The war. We can afford to expand. Yep.
Next.
The Germans are feeling especially generous today. 4 stars for a single textile coupon.
Must we be branded now, too?
So it appears, and you must pay for the privilege.
Aren't you going to miss school now it's almost over? I am, especially history. I love history.
Such a long walk to the Lyceum. I miss having a bike.
Personally, I'm glad mine was stolen. At least the Germans didn't get it.
Oh, Miss Quackenbush! Quack, quack, quack! Quack, quack, quack!
They can be so childish sometimes. Look, isn't it darling? I asked Daddy to buy it for me for my 13th birthday. It's going to be the best ever, the most smashing. Sorry.
Oh, you're Anne Frank. You go to school with my cousin Wilma. I'm Hello. Hello, Silverberg.
Oh, hello. Hello. This is my best friend, Jackie. How do you do?
Perhaps you'd allow me to buy you hot chocolate?
I love chocolate. Chocolate? Is her name really Hello?
Helmut. But my grandfather doesn't like it, so he calls me Hello instead.
Don't your parents think it's funny?
I don't know. I haven't seen them in 4 years.
You came all by yourself? It must have been so dangerous. I've never had an adventure like that before. I suppose Oma did. She never talked about it much. She died last winter. She had cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I never got to tell her how much I loved her.
I'd like very much to see you again, if that will be all right.
You don't have a girlfriend, do you?
Well, there's Ursula, of course. She's very pretty.
No, really.
But not as interesting as you are. We can meet on Wednesday evenings. My grandparents think I go to wood carving lessons, but actually I go to Zionist meetings. I'm not a fanatic or anything. You know, mostly everyone just yells. I'd much rather be with you.
Well, here I am.
I can call for you then?
That would be nice.
Until Wednesday then.
Bye.
Bye.
Weiter, weiter, weiter!
Come in, Maeve. Sit down. You've no doubt read how the Germans have emptied the provinces of Jews and sent them all here to Amsterdam. Our own Jewish council urges cooperation. There's talk of mass deportations, labor camps. Do you remember those poor boys they rounded up last February? They were sent to labor camps, not one came back. Miep, I have a great secret to confide in you. Edith, the children, and I are going into hiding. Mr. Van Pels and his family will join us. We're not going to wait for the Nazis to drag us away. We'll simply disappear.
Where will you go?
Here,
I don't understand.
in the annex at the back of this building. We make the move on the 16th of July.
That's less than a month away.
Kleiman and Kugler have been helping to move in certain belongings and supplies, a little at a time. We'll need someone to rely on for necessities, to act as caretaker. You know how much I trust you here in the office, but what I'm asking of you now is...
Yes, I'll do it, of course.
Think me. It'll be a great burden, not without risk. The penalties are bound to be severe.
I said yes. I meant it.
Thank you, Miep.
Anne and Margot, do they know?
No, not yet. Let them enjoy their lives for a little while longer. She's just excited.
I'm sure.
Quite a glamour girl, wouldn't you say? The soles are almost like real leather.
You're so lucky.
No.
Anne, who's that boy?
Oh, that's Peter Van Pels. He's always hammering something out in the garden behind us. He's a dope. Mommy says I have to be nice to him because his father works with Pim.
I think he's cute.
Cute?
Peter, would you like a biscuit? Anne baked them herself.
Great. I'd love one, thank you.
Come in.
Thank you.
I'll get her.
Hello.
Oh. Good afternoon, everyone.
Take your seats. Everyone. The show is about to begin.
Oh, those are for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know what you're thinking, but I'm not in love with anybody. We're just friends.
My grandparents don't approve of my seeing you. They say you're not old enough.
Well, you shouldn't do anything your grandparents don't approve of.
Love always finds a way.
I'll see you later then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Margot, what do you think of Hello?
He's very nice. And decent. It's easy to see he's in love with you.
Yes. It's rather fun. How old were you when you got your period?
Anne, little girls shouldn't talk of such things.
I'm tired of being a little girl. I want to be a woman.
Well, it's different for every girl. A woman. Your turn will come. You just have to be patient.
For how long?
Frank,
Yes?
sign here.
Don't answer the door until I get back. Do you understand?
Why? What's the matter?
Your father's gotten a summons. Don't worry, he's made plans. I'll get back as quickly as I can. Anne has to be told. Break it to her as gently as you can. And remember, keep absolutely still. Dare to think no one's home.
I understand. Anne.
Come in, sit down.
What's happening?
They've come for Margot. We always thought they would come for Otto or me. Never the children.
Where's Otto?
Visiting some friends at the Truge Hospital.
Planned for the 16th, but this changes everything. Otto will know what to do.
Daddy, I thought I'd never see you again.
Oh, be silly, Anne. What's happened? Anne, listen to me. I want you and Margot to pack a rucksack. There won't be any time tomorrow.
Daddy, what's going on?
I'll explain everything later. Now go. Call Mr. Kleiman. He has instructions. Fetch Miep and Jan. Have them come around and see you're off the streets by curfew.
These pictures are important.
And I know it's hard. You have to try and be sensible.
I don't care. My stars mean everything to me.
Jackie's on the phone.
Jackie?
Yes. And remember,
Hello, Jackie?
Anne, you won't believe it. You've got a baby now. Did you ever think she'd become a mother?
Who?
You've dear Hall. Haven't you seen the new Sissy Van Maxwell book? I'm almost halfway through.
It sounds divine.
Come over tomorrow and we can read it together. You can be you, and I'll be Leo, just like the last time.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
I can't wait to show you the cover. It's so darling.
I have to go now. Our guests are here. Goodbye, Jackie.
Yes.
Miep and Jan.
We're through here.
go on now. Finish packing your clothes.
Jan?
Mr. Frank, here, let me. Jan, help Mr. Frank.
This will put people off the track. If anyone inquires, tell them that we've gone to Switzerland. Oh, post this to my mother in Basel. I understand. You know what to do. Tomorrow.
How long will we be in hiding?
A few weeks. Perhaps a month or two. Until the war's over.
Where will we go? Will it be in town? The country?
You'll know tomorrow. We'll all be together, that's the main thing.
Will I be able to write to Jackie?
She must never know.
Moji? Can I take Moji with me?
I'm sorry. We'll leave some food and a note for the neighbors.
It isn't fair.
No. No.
Don't worry, we'll see you soon.
Hurry, Margot, before it gets light.
Bye.
Please. Back inside, everyone.
Everything will be fine. You'll see.
Leave it. Leave everything. We can't live in the past, Edith. Only the future. And quickly, please.
She's waiting here.
Thank God.
Dear Jacqueline, you're the only person I can tell about what happened. But you must promise not to say a word to anyone. Don't answer any questions about where we've gone. If you do, it could be very dangerous for us. Since you've never had to disappear, I'll try to give you an idea of our life. I call our hiding place the Secret Annex. And strange as it may seem, it's actually quite cozy here. You'd be surprised to find out that we're just above Daddy's office. Up the back staircase and behind a small door. Open the door, take one giant step, and voila! Daddy and Mummy's room is right behind the staircase. Margot and I reside next door. You've even got a bathroom. Upstairs there's a larger room with a kitchen. The Van Pelses sleep there at night, but during the day it's a big living room. We have to stay upstairs as long as the workers are still in the building. Peter Van Pels has a room off to the side, much smaller than mine. And there's an attic for storage. There are warehouses on both sides of us and neighbors all around. We have to be invisible day and night.
Still see light, sweets.
At first, it was only Daddy and me doing most of the work. Mummy and Margot eventually got over their shock and started to help.
Shirts.
It was amazing to see how many of our things Daddy had managed to sneak away. I wasn't the only one who brought my memories with me. Daddy kept his old soldier's trunk. It was hard for all of us not to think about the life we'd left behind. I miss my old room, but at least I have my movie stars to keep me company. With a little luck, we can all be happy here until we go back home. And now our annex really is secret. Mr. Kugler and Mr. Kleiman had a bookcase built in front of our little doorway. You have to be careful when you go downstairs to bend down low and try not to bump your head. Everything was ready by the time the Van Pelses arrived on July 13th.
Here.
Well done, man. Come in, come in.
I need oxygen. Well, I told Mr. Van Pels that I'm not going anywhere without my little potty.
Peter Van Pels, dope that he is, brought his cat. Even though Daddy told him not to. Mrs. Van Pels asked me to love Peter like a brother. But that's impossible. Mummy says he's shy, but I think he's rather boring. Now we're to have another guest. The other day, Daddy announced we have an opportunity to save one of our acquaintances.
Mr. Pfeffer has asked me about a hiding place. Now, we know this will only add to your worries, so the final decision rests with you.
It's just as dangerous for 7 as it is for 8.
So we're agreed.
From what we can tell, Mr. Pfeffer is quite congenial. For a dentist, anyway. That's all I had better write for now. I'm sure we'll see each other again, Jacqueline. But probably not before the war's over. Until then, a little kiss from your best friend, Anne.
Good morning, Miep.
Good morning, Mr. Frank.
Good morning, Miep. Here you are.
Some cigarettes, if you don't mind.
And some peppermint tea. I've been having the most frightful dizzy spells lately.
Things are harder and harder to come by.
Whatever you can do will be fine for all of us.
So, Miep, what's the news? Have you seen Jackie? I have a letter for her, but Daddy won't let me give it to you.
When I finish with the shopping, we'll have our talk.
And what of our friend, Mr. Pfeffer?
He can't come tomorrow. He has patience.
The idea.
What nerve. Tomorrow's Friday. Tell Mr. Pfeffer we will expect him Monday. That'll give him time to settle his affairs, but not a day later.
I'll see to it.
Miep, you remember one of our salesmen, Mr. Winter?
May I take your coat? How are sales at Everson?
Oh, what? Bad. Over the summer. Very bad.
I hear the reports.
Ring. Noir.
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 Re.
Black.
Oh, Mr. Pfeffer.
What? You're in Switzerland.
No, that was only a story.
Hello, Mr. Pfeffer.
Mrs. Frank. Welcome.
Well, here it is, Mr. Pfeffer. Nice to meet you. Don't worry. It's only like this when the workers downstairs are out to lunch. For the rest of the day, it's quiet. You'll have to learn the rules, of course. There are scads of rules.
Mr. Pfeffer appreciates the value of discipline. Here, idleness is our enemy. Our motto, work and hope.
Listen to the Prussian officer.
Breakfast is at 9 a.m., except on Sundays and holidays when it's 11:30. Lunch is from 1:15 to 1:35, and then we expect visitors.
Visitors?
Our helpers, of course. Here.
Thank you.
Dinner after the nightly news broadcasts, and lights out promptly at 10.
Parlez-vous français, Monsieur Pfeffer?
Oui, je parle un peu. Comment ça va, madame?
What does that mean?
My poor Charlotte. She thinks I've been spirited away to the country. Who would ever believe that I'm right here in the center of Amsterdam?
Would you like some more vegetables, Mr. Pfeffer?
Thank you.
I think we're all very fortunate here.
What a ridiculous thing to say.
I don't think it's ridiculous at all. It's a wonder I don't cry all the time thinking about my friends.
She's been taking her valerian drops. Be quiet.
Putty, you're spoiling my digestion. Children know nothing of what goes on in the world.
Here. Where's my pillow? What have you done with it this time?
I ate it.
How am I supposed to know where it is?
You keep losing everything.
Here.
And your predictions never come true.
When have I ever been wrong?
When have you ever been right?
I think it's a bit odd. Anne and there with Mr. Pfeffer. He's so old.
Anne's still a child. She won't mind.
We used to have such fun before.
Before we were married, you mean?
Do you always take so long?
Only as long as I need to.
I'll have to have a word with your father.
Don't touch me! Listen to them. Every night, the same racket. It would have been different with the Goslers.
With 2 children and a baby on the way. We've been over this, Edith. If the baby had cried, what then? It would have given us all away. This is no place for a woman as pregnant as she was.
At least I could have taken care of her. I still can't believe it. Mother and baby both dead.
Mother, don't.
It would have been different if I had been there to help.
You don't know that, Edith.
That's just it, Otto. I will never know.
You have to try not to think of things outside these walls. It's hard, I know. But we can't be responsible for everyone. Just for ourselves.
You mustn't do that.
I can't help it. I like watching people. Sometimes I make up stories for them, imagining what their lives are like. What ours would be like if... Margaret, don't I look different to you?
Different?
Anne, have you... I wanted it to be my own sweet little secret for a while. I've only told Bep. She fetched some things from the chemist for me. I'm happy for you, really. If only people would just stop treating me like a child.
Are you busy after school? Do you think they have Jewish schools in Switzerland? Of course they do. But there aren't any Germans to force you to go there.
I still can't believe she left her shoes behind. She was so proud of them, remember?
You really saw them right on the floor? Like she's just kicked them off. Did you see the diary?
It was gone.
But we looked.
I'm sorry, my wife. They took her away last night.
He sent you this.
You've seen Fritz. Can't you even tell me where he is?
I don't know.
You see that he gets this? Of course. Thank you. You're so kind. Tell him I love him. That I'll wait.
Damn you, you beasts!
And with disasters far more bloody than anything we have experienced so far in this. But in the end, all the oppositions fell together, and all our foes submitted.
I can't stand to hear that man. Half the time I don't even know what he's saying. This is not the end. It is possibly the beginning of the end, and it is certainly the end of the beginning. Now, do you know what that means, Mr. Frank? If you ask me, the British should spend more time bombing Germany, less time drinking tea.
Oh, shut up already. Stop messing around. Fix it. Every time you try to fix something, it only gets worse.
The Americans, Otto. Why don't they come? Why do they take so long?
They got their hands full fighting the Japanese. You mustn't despair, Edith. The invasion will come. They'll be here soon.
Yes, but will we?
Daddy, will you please ask Mr. Pfeffer why he thinks it's so unreasonable of me to insist upon me being able to use my own desk?
I have important work to do. Work, you understand? And besides, there are other places you can go. This writing of yours, you could do it in the attic, perhaps. It's only a diary, after all. Childish pastime.
Childish?
No, you needn't argue. What I propose is this. Anne should have the desk, say, twice a week, from 4 in the afternoon until 5:30, and Mr. Pfeffer may use it the rest of the time.
But Pim...
Are we agreed? We all have to make small sacrifices, Anne.
You mean me? I have to make the sacrifices, and it isn't small. I'm not a little girl anymore.
Mr. Pfeffer has a right to the desk.
And don't I have rights? I work just as hard as anybody else here. I just don't want that man pouring through my private thoughts.
That's easily remedied, I should think. I have it. Here. This will keep your diary safe from prying eyes.
Thank you, Daddy.
My little woman.
Pardon me?
Never let it be said that Anne Frank failed in her so-called studies on my account.
Thank you.
Listen, there's a British planes. They're coming to save up.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
Beat the captain!
What are you doing?
Not everyone. Here is an ex-soldier.
This is my partner, Mr. Kleiman.
Pleased to meet you.
Our indispensable meat.
Hello.
And Bep.
Nice to meet you.
This is Mr. Van Maren. He'll be taking over as foreman. At least until Bep's father feels well enough to return.
Well, I'm not much for talk. But if it's a hard worker you're looking for, I'm your man.
Fine. Show Mr. Van Maren the storeroom, please, Bep.
I'll do it.
Our salesmen give their orders to Bep once a week. Everything you need to fill your orders is right here. We have 2 kinds of Pectacon products, spices and jams.
Well, this would fetch a pretty penny on the black market.
Wouldn't know about that. Your office is going to be in here.
What's this blue paint for?
Oh, that's to keep the spices out of the light.
What does Meek think?
She doesn't trust him. She thinks he's a thief.
Ah, she's very protective.
Shelling peas is so boring. Could never be a housewife. It's like being in prison.
It's only temporary. Your father would be back soon enough. I'm sure of it.
No. They say it's cancer.
So much suffering in the world.
Is that all you can say, Mother? It will only make matters worse. Honestly, I don't know how you could be so thick sometimes.
Anne, that's no way to talk to your mother.
Don't listen to them, Bep. You know what I do? When things get difficult? I go upstairs. There's a window in the attic where you can see the old chestnut tree in the yard. There's the most wonderful branches. And when they're in full bloom, it's beautiful. When I look out, feel better, somehow. Makes me wonder if God is a lot closer than most people think.
Did you read that in one of your books? Such a font of knowledge you've become.
I suppose I'm just hopeless. Excuse me.
Don't you think you should apologize to your mother?
She could be such a trial sometimes.
You're quite a trial yourself.
So people keep reminding me.
It's only natural for a girl, I mean a young woman of your age to...
Stop! I don't want to hear that I'm like all other girls. I'm not. I'm me. And Frank.
Anne, your mother's your staunchest defender. I've heard her with Mrs. Van Powell. She's your friend.
I don't want her to be a friend. I need her to be a mother. Someone I can look up to. To set an example.
Your mother's a kind, generous woman. She's a dutiful wife. She's borne a great deal without complaint.
You always take her side. But I've seen the way you kiss her. You kiss her the same way you kiss me and Margot. I think even you're not in love with her.
Never say that. You wouldn't want me to take away your diary, would you?
Daddy, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I can't help the way I feel. Mummy and I, we're so different. We're like night and day. She doesn't understand anything about me.
Have you tried to understand her?
Fallen asleep. How long have you been watching me?
I've just come up. Honest. Beans in the storeroom. Everyone's gone now, so it's safe to bring them up.
What do you think you're doing?
What's in that building back there?
It does not belong to us.
Is that right?
You are supposed to be at lunch. Get out. Go.
Ja, es gibt Juden hier.
Raus, Juden! Ihr habt 5 Minuten Zeit!
Kugler's records are getting sloppy.
The curtains in the front office. They're open again.
They're always open on weekends, Mr. Pfeffer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. And tell me, how am I to collect any papers? Surely no one will see.
That's how it starts. No one will see, no one will hear, no one will pay any attention. Then what? Hello, Peter.
Hi. Did you bring the bread? Give me the keys, I'll do it myself. And get rid of that cat. You look ridiculous. Like you're wearing one of your mother's precious furs. Dummkopf.
I think it's beastly the way he treats you.
Oh, don't mind him. He gets like that when he hasn't had his cigarettes. I like it when you smile.
Really?
Sort of makes your eyes sparkle. They're pretty eyes.
Oh, no, I'm not pretty.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
Well, you'll just have to believe me then.
I was wondering where that had got to. Thank you.
So it's your wallet then, is it?
I've just told you.
You were in the warehouse last night?
That's right.
Why?
I don't have to explain myself to you.
Didn't a certain Mr. Frank work here in the office at one time? A Jew?
What's that got to do with anything?
What happened to him?
He disappeared.
Disappeared?
That's right. Now, if you'll excuse me. If it's a reward you're looking for, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, I got my reward, all right. Somebody living in that building behind us. I know it.
My wife cleans the offices. If there were people hiding, she'd know it. She thought she saw something once, but he turned out to be a salesman.
Everybody's hiding somebody these days. What bothers me is that they may be Jews. Could be bad for all of us.
You think Kugler's in on it?
Kugler. Kugler's a liar. I know that already. That whole bunch in the office is always sneaking around. Kleiman says he has to go to the storeroom. The secretary is always checking records. And the other one, that Miep, something about her I don't like. She's shifty, that one.
What can you do?
Firing Van Maren could be dangerous. If he suspects something, there is a chance he could go to the Gestapo. The reward for Jews has gone up to 25 guilders a head.
On the other hand, if the fellow's stealing, he's got something to hide as well.
Yes, I think you're right. We have to be more cautious from now on, all of us.
That was our last 100 guilders. What are we to do for money now?
One of those fancy dresses of yours should be worth something.
I'd like to see you try.
Stop being a ninny.
And don't speak to me that way. Whose fault is it we're in this pickle? Certainly not mine.
Would you please stop arguing? You're like two magpies, always bickering.
And I don't see you offering to help.
Please, everyone. Accusations accomplish nothing.
We're left to fend for ourselves while you keep all the money from the business. Don't you think my Curly deserves a share of that money? Where would you all be without his precious nose? I tell you, still making jam.
See, I told you we should have taken in the Goslars.
Oh, Edith, please.
Is that so?
Yes, it is.
Oh, Mr. Pfeffer, would you mind waiting a moment? Would you please convey this to Mr. Van Pels? Tell him I await a response.
Oh, yes, of course.
If Mrs. Frank wants her linen back, she can have all of it. I've never really cared for it. To be honest, I've always found it rather shabby, haven't you? And from now on, they can use their own china. See how they like that. Thank you, Mr. Pfeffer.
Very well.
Be sure to put that in the letter.
All right.
It'll teach them to put on airs.
Mr. Pfeffer, would you please ask Mr. Van Pels to pass the salt?
At least it was one of theirs this time.
Peter, get up here.
It's all right. You shouldn't get into trouble on my account.
What do you think you're doing? Sit down.
Look at yourselves. You're supposed to know better. How do you think it makes us feel? Me, Peter, and Margot, to see you behaving this way. A fine example you're setting.
She's right, you know. There's absolutely no place for pettiness. Give me your plate. Would you like soup or porridge?
Porridge, please.
Mr. Pfeffer, would you be so kind as to pass this porridge to Mr. Van Pelt?
Mr. Frank? Mr. Van Pelt. Have some vegetables, Margot. Here's a joke for you, Anne. What has 4 legs and flies? Hmm?
Tell me.
Hmm? A horse.
What do you mean, a horse?
A horse.
A horse can't fly.
A horse that's with the flies at the tail.
Oh, don't be disgusting.
Come on, Putty.
I don't get it. What do you mean?
A horse with flies at the tail.
Peter! It was announced from the broadcasting station at Cologne this evening that the whole of Western Germany is to be blacked out until further notice. Night raids have already caused severe damage, and President Roosevelt has repeated his request that Allied planes refrain from bombing civilians and unfortified towns.
Look how fast I'm growing, Daddy.
3, 24, 25, 6.
Mother says you should drink this.
It's such a bother having the flu. I'm afraid to cough for fear someone might hear. I like the bells. I like to hear that there is life waiting for us. Margot, what do you miss most? About outside?
I don't know. So many things.
I long for everything. I've decided something.
What?
After the war, I'm going to live. I'm going to travel. Study languages. Go to Paris or London. Study history. I love history.
It sounds romantic.
You think I'm too extravagant?
No. I've been thinking too. I've been reading about Palestine. I'd like to see it. Maybe be a nurse there.
It's going to be different for us. We're going to be modern women.
Very kind of you, Meep.
I wish there were more. There are not enough ration coupons.
You don't need ration coupons for this. But the supplier, understandably, wishes to remain anonymous.
Thank you very much.
Victory.
Thank you, Mr. Clement.
You're welcome. You've no idea what it's like for me, Mrs. Geese. No one has any sympathy. Least of all that girl. They have each other, you see. I've no one. Only Charlotte.
Oh, thank you, my darling. Listen.
Did she give you anything? Oh, thank you. And Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Anne, I have something for you.
Oh, Meep, they're beautiful. I've never had high heels before.
Oh, I hope they fit. Here.
They fit, they fit.
They do? Wonderful. Oh, let me see you walk. Here. What a beautiful young lady you've become.
Do you really think so?
I do.
It isn't easy for me to always look my best. Peter thinks I'm sweet, though. He told me so. He said he liked my smile.
You have a lovely smile.
Meep, when you met Jan, did you know?
No? Oh, yes. I think I did.
When?
When he kissed me. Does Peter?
Oh, no. I keep wanting him to, though. But I'm trying to be a lady about it.
He will. How could he resist?
Oh, look at this.
Red shoes. Meep.
What you doing?
Oh, tea.
Curly, no.
Wait. Meep, how much do you think something like this would fetch?
Mr. Kleinman has a furrier friend. We can ask him.
He just wants money for bloody cigarettes.
You think food is cheap?
Curly, you sold everything else, my best dresses and jewelry. Let me keep this at least.
Enough, Putty. Anything you can do, Meep.
You see what it's come to, Mrs. Frank. I won't have any fine things left. How am I going to face people after?
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Must you go, Meep?
Oh, Diana's waiting. Just a little longer, please.
You hear how they all talk? After the war. I say nothing. What could I say to them? Mrs. Van Pels. Everything a crisis. Was she to criticize the things she says about the children? The children. Anne. Margot. Otto says we must be hopeful. Hopeful for what?
You mustn't think such things.
I know I have to be strong. But for how much longer? If only this waiting would end. At least I could be certain.
Miep, we're not going to make it. It will have a bad end. I'm sure of it now. It doesn't matter for me. But the children... The children, Miep, what's to become of the children?
Him. I saw her.
Who?
Hannah. So awful. The way she looked at me. I was so mean to her sometimes, and there was nothing I can do to help. Oh, Hannah.
Just a bad dream.
I hate them. The Germans. They won't stop until they've killed all the Jews, will they? I wish all the Germans were dead.
Anne, listen to me. You must never think like that. There are good and bad people everywhere. It makes no difference where they come from. What about Miep and Mr. Kugler? They're Austrian, just like Hitler. I want them to die as well.
Oh.
And don't forget, we are German.
No. We're Dutch, aren't we, Margot?
Of course we are.
I don't want to be German. Not ever.
Here, take your valerian. It will make you feel better.
No. Kim, let me sleep here tonight, please.
That's my girl.
Oh, I'm desperate for a smoke. Maybe Kugler forgot some cigarettes in the office. I join you.
Police are coming.
I need the toilet.
We'll all have to wait. You just have to hold it, Margot. For Queen and country, freedom, truth, and right.
This is no time for insolence.
radio. They're going to find the radio.
The difference does the radio make if they find us?
I still feel your heart beating.
I thought we were lost. I could see the Gestapo taking us away.
We're safe now. Meep. Mr. Kleiman will be here soon.
I prayed. Did you? I wouldn't have blamed God if he didn't listen. I never used to give him a thought. But he was watching us. I know it. He's always watching the Jews. He always will. Look. I'm glad we're here. Together.
Me too.
Listen, Peter. Aren't they beautiful? They're telling us things are going to be all right.
Sure.
I must complain in the strongest possible terms about the new security measures.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pfeffer, but downstairs is off limits until further notice, except for those with responsibilities.
You can't keep us prisoners in this attic, Mr. Frank.
We are prisoners, Mr. Pfeffer. None of us can afford another encounter like the last one.
Now, see here.
It's been decided.
Not by me.
If the Allies knew about Mr. Pfeffer, maybe they'd be here already.
We go.
And if we're not very careful, there's going to be a wedding on our hands.
Do you know what this is, Hartog? If you have mice, you need a trap. I know where they're hiding.
This is Armed Forces Radio. Today is the day. Today is D-Day. At 0630 hours, Allied forces under the command of General Dwight D. Eisenhower landed on beaches throughout Normandy. Fighting is heavy, but victory is assured. To the people of Western Europe, we say, be strong, have faith, stand firm. 1944 will be the year of your liberation.
My girls, we made it.
Just think of it, Anne. We'll be back in school in October. School.
know there's going to be a celebration later, right? But I just wanted to be the first to say it. So happy 15th birthday.
Oh, thank you, Peter. They're lovely.
Mate, you bought them for me. Cost me everything I had. And it's worth it to see you smile. What are you doing?
Can't believe I was so innocent when I wrote some of this. But I'm trying to make it better. I'm dreaming of turning it into a novel.
Does it have a title yet?
Maybe The Unbosomings of an Ugly Duckling. Or The Secret Annex.
You must say something.
Why make trouble? But Martin won't say anything. He's got his reasons.
What about the neighbors? Maybe they've heard something. Pipes. People talking. God knows what.
I'm staying out of it.
They'll catch you. They'll find out you've been hiding from them. Why didn't you report when you were supposed to? Have you thought about what will happen?
Of course I've thought about it.
How long will you wait? Until the Gestapo comes to take you away? What shall I do then? Who cares about a bunch of Jews? They've got it coming to them anyway. It's our lives I'm talking about, Leonard.
He's fighting at Caen. According to the reports, won't be long now. Do you think it's such a good idea, you spending so much time in the attic? Don't you think you should do your homework in your room?
Daddy, you of all people know what Mr. Pfeffer's like.
Your father's trying to say that you're spending a little bit too much time with Peter.
I don't understand. Are we doing something wrong?
No. It's just, you encourage him a little too much, I think. You should set limits.
Don't you like him?
Think he has potential, yes. This is the wrong environment for an infatuation, and I must say I'm not certain I approve of all the necking.
I hate that word.
Just don't take things too seriously. That's all we're asking.
I think I'm old enough now to make my own decisions. Besides, he likes my smile.
Oh, that went well.
Ever since I was little, I used to think my parents had the perfect marriage. I can't remember ever once hearing them argue. Daddy even used to serve Mummy breakfast in bed.
Can you imagine my father doing that for my mother? Probably hit him with a tray. Or vice versa.
Mummy loves Daddy. I'm sure of that. But sometimes I think Daddy married her because he thought she would be a good wife. Do you see the difference? I asked Daddy about it once. You know what he said? Your mother's very dutiful. Dutiful. I want so much more than that.
I say, let the Nazis kill each other, less work for the British and the Russians.
This time next month, we'll be having our Shabbat meal in freedom.
This is not a meal, this is garbage.
Your people could be doing more for us.
Mr. Pfeffer, how could you say something like that?
Have you thought about what would happen if meat were caught with one of your little packages from Charlotte?
Now you even begrudge me my Charlotte. And you think you're the only lonely person in the world.
Yes, those in glass houses. What's that supposed to mean? This modern household of yours.
It's the same argument over and over again.
Some people never learn.
You could afford to take some lessons too. You're selfish, you're hysterical, and you're pushy.
I am not pushy.
As if you were some ideal mother. You can't even control your own son. It's a wonder we...
Wait a minute. Just please be quiet. Sit down.
Will you stop telling me what to do?
Somebody's been a bad influence.
I'm proud of you.
I suppose I just finally had enough.
It's a beautiful story. Do you really think so? Everyone would be amazed to know that you had this in you. People would just think I was being silly. Or worse. Margot, do you remember the stories Daddy used to tell us? About the two Paulas? Of course. Good Paula and bad Paula. Everyone expects me to be bad Paula, so I try not to disappoint them. Good Paula's just for me. I keep her here. I don't let her out in public. Well, why not show them who you really are? Good Paula's not strong enough. She hides and lets bad Paula do the talking. Except in my diary. Well, whichever one of you wrote this, I think it's very fine. You know, you are old enough to know by now that there's no harm in being yourself. I try, Margot. Really, I do. It's just other people keep getting in the way. Well, good night. Good night.
Just a second.
Hello?
I have information.
Information about what?
About some Jews. At 263 Prinzengracht. Somewhere in the back building.
Kenya. Nairobi. Hungary. Budapest.
Where's the boss?
Upstairs.
Don't move! Don't even flinch. Mister! Against the wall!
You've been denounced.
All right, Drew, let's go!
Borgiras, those who foretell the future.
Now show us what's behind that bookcase.
What's Norway? Oslo?
Gestapo.
Drei nach oben, zwei hier unten. Ich will sie alle in diesem Raum. Let's go! Right, get up, get up! They're in here. Hands up. Take them down! Move!
Money? Valuables?
You'll find a strong box in the closet.
Go get it. Stop packing. You've got 5 minutes.
Beth, listen to me. I want you to go to my house, tell my wife what's happening, and don't come back.
Go now. There's no guard.
Okay. There's still time. You can go too.
No, I stay.
It's all right, Mr. Fenn. I'll see you again soon. I'm sure of it.
What's in this trunk?
Nothing of any value, not to you. Memories.
This is a soldier's trunk. Where did you get it?
It's mine. Yes, I was a reserve officer in the First World War.
But why didn't you register as a veteran? You would have been sent to Theresienstadt. You would have been treated decently. Take your time, Lieutenant.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Genug. Raus. Finish your packing. You, in here.
Mate, see that you stay out of it. Salvage what you can.
C'est eine unglaubliche Schweinerei!
The Gestapo's here. Get rid of this. I think he's from Vienna. Go, go, go.
I'm ready, Pen.
So you have nothing to say? Either one of you?
No, nothing.
Well, now it's your turn.
You're from Vienna. So am I. I heard it right away.
Papers? You get out. Keys. Like the name on the business, yes? Strange that your husband isn't here. Have you no shame? What am I going to do with you? It's unglaublich. It's unglaublich! As far as I'm concerned, you can stay here on Rhodes. Consider it a personal favor. But if you leave, we'll seize your husband.
You keep your hands off my husband. He has nothing to do with this. It's my affair.
Don't be stupid. You're both in this up to your necks. I'll be back to check on you. God help you if you're not here.
Get the keys, lock the place up.
No, you're not supposed to take anything.
This is Anne's diary. Pep, help me pick this up. Pep, help me.
Oh, quickly, before he comes back.
Where have they taken them?
To Gestapo headquarters, I should think. After that...
It was so awful.
Enough.
Aren't you going to read it?
No, this belongs to Anne. When she comes back, I'll give it to her.
Welcome to the Jerusalem of Holland. Registration is at the far end of Tourist Avenue.
Just follow the crowd. We're all Jews here. The Germans let us run the place. That's S barracks. Watch out you don't end up there. The place is a little dirty, but we've got everything you need to make yourself comfortable. So we've got lots of work to keep you busy.
We're already filled up. It's no good.
Things don't look so bad. Make ourselves useful, stick it out.
Next. Name? Frank. Otto Frank. This is my wife Edith and my daughters Anne and Margot.
S. Barracks.
If I may, I'd like to request that my daughters be assigned to kitchen duties.
I can do anything. I'm very handy.
No privileges for criminals of S. Barracks.
May I ask of what crime we're accused?
Failure to report when ordered. Next.
Not a crime, sir.
Next.
It's not a crime, sir.
Next.
It doesn't make us criminals, sir.
So then Fred Astaire takes Ginger Rogers in his arms and they dance and dance and dance.
Hi.
Before the war, she went to every movie she could.
I can't wait to see all the pictures I missed.
Thanks to all the magazines, she already knows all the plots by heart.
They can't touch us. I heard one of the other women talking. She said the Allies have taken Paris and they're marching through Belgium now.
Is that the latest from the JPA?
What's the JPA?
The Jewish press agency. Every day a different rumor. The Allies are here, there, everywhere. They say there hasn't been a transport in 2 months. Maybe there's hope.
There's always hope, Yanni. As long as we work hard. That's my father's motto. Work and hope. And then Mrs. Quackenbush began to quack. She quacked, and she quacked, and she quacked. "Stop that infernal quacking," cried the swan. And he put his wings over his ears. But Mrs. Quackenbush did not stop. Not until the big black swan flew away. She waited to see if the swan would come back, but he never did. So she gathered her ducklings around her, and together they swam off, happily ever after. And do you know what they sang? That's right. Quack, quack.
They love your stories.
Do you think you could arrange for me to visit more often?
I'll try. They don't have parents to tell them stories anymore.
When we're liberated, I'm going to get all the paper I can find and start my stories over again. Did I tell you I was working on a novel?
No. I don't think so.
Well, I was. I didn't know how to finish it, but now I do. I can't wait to get started again. It's going to be a romance, but not sentimental, mind you. I've grown too old for that. Do you remember how you told me once that you were ashamed of being Jewish?
A chosen people. Chosen for what? This?
We've suffered before and it's only made us stronger. One day people will look up to us.
Yeah, there's only of us left.
I used to take so much for granted. Like the sky. Do you see those stars? We had a club called the Little Dipper once. Jackie, Hannah, Sana, and me. 1 star for each of us.
And which one were you?
That one.
Well, I should have known.
Tomorrow a transport will leave this camp.
Quiet!
The ODs are preparing lists. Inmates selected for this transport will be allowed to take with them all belongings surrendered upon arrival. I look forward to personally seeing you off and wishing you bon voyage.
Back to your barracks, now!
There must be something you can do. You've got to keep us off their lists.
The string in this camp I haven't tried to pull. The only language they understand is barter. We've got nothing to trade. I'm not sure it would do any good even if we had.
The Jew traitors here are worse than the Nazis. Saving their own skins.
In their place, you'd do something different.
They're like Job, waiting in the ashes while they played God.
No, it was different for Job. Job didn't have to squat like an animal in front of strangers. Job was not driven from his homeland, and Job could argue back.
Attention! Get in line! Step forward when your name is called! Brandesiani!
Lubinsky, Isaac.
Brandesliente!
Frank, Otto.
Frank Margot! Frank Hollander, Edith!
Van Pels, Herman.
Frank Annelies!
Van Pels, Peter.
Van Pels Röttgen, Augusta?
Pfeffer, Fritz.
Doesn't make any sense. Anyone with brains can see the Germans are losing the war. What can we matter to them now?
Nothing makes sense anymore, Mr. Pfeffer, not to me. As long as my family stay together.
Still in Germany, I think. Not sure. Everywhere just looks bombed to pieces.
That's something anyway.
Maybe they bombed the tracks. That's possible, isn't it, Mr. Frank?
Yes, it's possible.
take off the red patches. Wherever we're going, we're not going as common criminals.
Ja, links rüber. Rechts. Rechts rüber. Geh nach rechts. Nach links rüber. Rechts. Damit wir jetzt hier die Null aus. Seite, was ist denn los? Los geht's. Langsam, runter mit den Sachen. Runter mit dem Schmuck. Handel und Sachen raus hier. Runter mit dem Zeugs. Ziert euch nicht. Schande. Was macht ihr denn? Schneller los jetzt!
You just say goodbye to your father, your brother. You won't see them again, you know. They're already in the gas chambers.
Don't listen to her, Anne.
Shut up, you.
Die Nummer stimmt doch nicht überein. Es muss noch mal gezählt werden.
Line up! Women selected for this transport will be sent to a work camp to work on munitions.
They ask your age, they're 16.
Transport. 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 Age?
16.
Scabies. You're staying here. Send her to Krasiblank.
I'm staying with my daughter.
I have scabies too.
I talked to Anne last night. The doctor said they could leave that horrible place.
When?
Today, she said.
And the sun is shining.
It's dangerous for them there. I should have gone with them.
Gesund, gesund, krank nach rechts. Das krank nach rechts, krank nach rechts. Gesund. Guck mich an. Schnell. Zeig her. Krank. Nach rechts. Gesund. Gesund.
Weiterarbeiten. Müller! Immer weiter hacken. Schön weiter schaufeln. Mach schon. Müller, ein bisschen mehr. Weiterarbeiten. Hey, du da! Werf nicht ein! Gerade runter in der Ecke da! Aktion!
The scabies block. There's been a selection. The children?
Aufstehen! Los! Los!
Listen, Margot. Birds. I've forgotten about birds. You never saw them in Birkenau.
Nothing lived there. Birds of prey. Scavengers. That's all that's left. That's the Steinlager. The Star Camp. They're saving those Jews to exchange them for German prisoners.
They have food over there.
But be careful. If they catch you, they'll shoot you.
How dare you, you thieving pig! Mrs. Van Pels.
Oh, to find you here after all these weeks, months. Your mother was beside herself with grief when she heard about the transport.
She didn't come with you. Selected.
Every day there were trains. It was because of the Russians, is what I heard. Only 60 miles away, they're emptying all the Polish camps.
We don't believe in rumors anymore.
Oh, can't you make her stop?
Typhus.
You get used to it. You get used to everything.
There's somebody on the other side of the fence. And I think it's your friend, Hannah. Hannah. The other side.
Hannah. Hannah. Hannah.
Hannah. Is it really you? What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in Switzerland.
It was only a story, so they wouldn't come looking for us. We were hiding in Daddy's office. I couldn't tell anybody. Gabby, is she here? She had an infection, but she's all right now. Someone's taking care of her. It's Father I'm worried about. He's so sick. They took me to the hospital. I pray for him every night. I used to pray for you too, Anne. I prayed that your family was safe. I have no family.
But your mother selected. The chimney was smoking so black. It's too horrible. I can't believe it. They've taken everything, Hannah. Everything. It's so cold here. The lice are crawling over my clothes. There's no food. Everything I find I give to Margot because she's so weak. We got a Red Cross package today. It isn't much, but it's something. Wait. I'm here. I'll throw it over. But be careful. What's happening? Anne, tell me. She took it. She took my food. I'll try again if I can. Come back tomorrow. Please try. Please try. Yes, I promise. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Oh. I got it. Oh, socks. Thank you. Thank you so much. Meet me here. Not tomorrow, but the next day. Wait for me. I'll wait. I have so much I want to tell you. Me too. I have to go with the guards until then. No, go away. Anne? Anne, are you there? Can you hear me? Anne? I'm sorry I couldn't meet you the way I said I would. They told us we were going to be exchanged. Finally, after all this waiting, you should have seen Father. He got dressed in his best suit. Even in the hospital. He died in that suit. And now they say we're not going to be exchanged after all. Why are they so cruel? You're the only person I've left to talk to. You and Gabby. She's not old enough to understand yet. I don't understand. Where are you?
Anne? What's happened? Where are your clothes?
I threw them away. I feel the lice crawling all over me. Itching all the time.
I'll try to organize something for you. Which barrack are you in?
One of these. You have to come. You have to come. Margot is very sick.
Everyone's sick. My sister, too. I'll come when I can. Now get back inside. Take some bread.
Do you remember how I was always taking care of you when you were little?
It's my turn to take care of you now.
It doesn't matter anymore.
No, you can't leave me here.
Tell me a story. I used to love your stories.
Pim's stories are always much better than mine. Poor Pim.
You still had to be right there, weren't you? I didn't like that. Do you remember how we talked about it? About what we were going to do after the war.
What were you going to be?
I can't remember.
Yes, you can. You have to. A nurse. That's what you told me.
That's right. A nurse. A nurse in Palestine.
Paris or London. That's where I'm going. See the world.
See the world.
Birds. Listen, Margot. Margot. No, you'll wake her.
Mr. Frank.
Meep. It's good to see you.
And Edith?
She's not coming back.
Let's go inside.
After we were liberated by the Russians, I found someone who'd known Edith in the women's camp. Starvation. She was hoarding bread under her blanket in the hospital for her children and her husband, she said. If her body had only held out for 2 more weeks.
I'm sorry, Mr. Frank.
The Nazis dynamited the gas chambers, you know, to cover their tracks. That wasn't enough for them. That's when the marches began. And I was in the hospital. I begged Peter not to go, to stay behind. He was looking after me then. I don't know what happened to him. Or to Mr. Pfeffer. Mr. Van Pels, I saw with my own eyes, being taken to the gas chamber. He was in the barracks when he should have been at work. He just gave up. And you could never do that. Never.
And the girls? Do you have any news?
Only rumors. So many of the women were deported to Germany. I live in hope. Bergen-Belsen restaurant.
You. I need to speak to you. I'm looking for information about my daughters. I believe they were sent to Bergen-Belsen.
We have to fill out a form.
I have filled out a form. I filled out
we
5
can add their
forms.
names to a list, then we'll contact you.
Their names, Anne Frank and Margot Frank.
My name is Annie Brandes. I was in Bergen-Belsen with Anne and Margot Frank.
Do you have any information? Follow me.
Who is it?
Mrs. Brandes.
Yes.
Otto Frank. I believe you saw my daughters at Bergen-Belsen. Anna not coming back.